Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras, here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
For the first time ever, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán will be arriving in Israel for an official state visit. Ties with the somewhat isolated nation of Hungary have been warming considerably over the last year, and while some hail this as another impressive accomplishment of Prime Minister Netanyahu, others are distressed to see Israel welcoming a foreign leader whose platform is littered with traces of anti-Semitism and Nazi approval. Prime Minister Netanyahu has repeatedly been trying to improve ties with the controversial Hungarian PM for quite some time now. When Orbán was re-elected back in April, Netanyahu was said to be the first foreign leader to congratulate him on the win. That was also when the invite to Israel was first extended, an offer that Prime Minister Orbán is taking him up on today. Orbán will spend 2 days touring the Jewish state, and the trip will include stops at the Knesset, the Western Wall, and the Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum. For some, though, Orbán's visit to Israel's Holocaust Memorial Center comes with some painful irony. Orbán has publicly backed his country's former leader Miklos Horthy, who personally allied with the Nazis and oversaw the deportation of 500,000 Jews to the Auschwitz death camp. Orbán's criticism of the EU immigration policies have also been accused of harboring disturbing traces of anti-Semitism. Last year, the Hungarian leader spearheaded a billboard campaign attacking Jewish Hungarian-American activist George Soros. It was widely seen as evoking the memories of Nazi propaganda. Despite the concerns of Jewish groups in Israel and abroad, though, Netanyahu has made a potential friendship with Orbán a top priority. Israeli officials have even been coordinating with the Trump administration to help build those ties. Clearly, Netanyahu sees a potential alliance with Hungary as a win-win situation for all sides. We've just learned that Hamas is allegedly working to halt the deadly incendiary kite and balloon attacks coming out of the Gaza Strip. This report comes on the heels of some of the most turbulent days in recent memory between Israel and the Palestinians in Gaza, tensions that are threatening to spiral into war. Egypt is said to have successfully convinced Hamas to put an end to these homemade firebomb attacks before they start a war, and many see these attacks as a sign of growing desperation and hopelessness from Gazans, who have used paper kites, balloons, and even condoms to fly booby-trapped explosives into Israeli territory. Those attacks have devastated Israeli agriculture in the south, but they've also had some very close calls with human lives. Just yesterday, one such firebomb landed outside a kindergarten in the city of Sderot, where children were playing. Thankfully, no one was injured, but Hamas is now apparently ordering its factions to halt the practice altogether, at least for the time being. Make no mistake, however, this is likely a strategic choice for the terror group. Israel has shuttered the Kerem Shalom crossing checkpoint twice in the last 2 weeks because of these repeated attacks. On top of that, Hamas is probably hoping to avoid all-out war at this time. But for now, it remains to be seen if these attacks will truly be halted. Israel's lack of faith in Hamas is most apparent in that the IDF has just ordered a massive military drill to prepare for a war in Gaza, should the incendiary balloons and kites continue. Hamas has been given until Friday to truly end the practice, and in what has largely been interpreted as a thinly veiled threat to Hamas, the IDF's 162nd Armored Division on Sunday began their exercises. The drills included multiple potential fronts, including the capturing of Gaza City. Hamas, in preparation to adhere to the Friday deadline, has already dispatched units to over 60 positions along the Gaza-Israel border. According to Israeli Channel 10 News, all remaining posts will be manned by the end of the week as well. Europol, the EU police force, has just signed its first ever agreement with a non-EU member country to combat crime. According to a Europol statement, Police Commissioner Roni Alshekh said that this new working agreement between Israel and the EU will, quote, enable the Investigations and Intelligence Division of Israel National Police to advance its capabilities to deal in the best way possible with new threats in the field of organized crime, cybercrime exploited by international criminal and terrorist elements, fighting terrorism in its various forms, and crime that crosses borders in the field of social economies, end quote. What's interesting with this timing, however, is that this landmark agreement comes just as Israel and EU officials have been publicly at odds over several issues. Public Security Minister Gilad Erdan, for example, just accused the EU of funding international boycott efforts, even terrorism against Israel. EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini vehemently rejected the accusation, and the EU ambassador to Israel also refuted the claims, saying the idea that the EU could support terrorism is entirely unfounded. Israel has also long been embroiled in an international case of investment fraud and other such charges related to the fraudulent binary options and forex industry. Forex and binary companies based in Israel have scammed billions of dollars from victims all over the world, and Israel has often been accused of dragging its feet in investigations. Hopefully, this new agreement is a sign of improving ties on all fronts. In a national first, a United States federal judge has just ruled that Jews do in fact constitute a race, and that they are therefore protected under the 1964 Civil Rights Act. The precedent-setting decision made by Louisiana magistrate Mark Hornsby was handed down in regards to a case of discriminatory hiring practices. Joshua Bonadonna wants to sue a private Christian college for allegedly not hiring him as the new football coach because he is a Christian convert from Judaism. Bonadonna alleges that his interviewer at the university, Rick Brewer, even made reference to his, quote, Jewish blood. Well, now that Judaism has legally been considered a race, the civil suit will likely go forward. Judge Hornsby clarified his decision in a statement reading, quote, Jewish citizens have been excluded from certain clubs or neighborhoods, and they have been denied jobs and other opportunities based on the fact that they were Jewish, with no particular concern as to a given individual's religious leanings, end quote. All that aside, however, the decision is technically just an opinion. Therefore, according to the AP, the college can ask for a review on this opinion before it takes this whole case to court.
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.